What's up, YouTube? So you got some rust problems because you live in the Rust Belt, or you live in Canada, or a salt flat. Well, no problem, we got you, because today we're going to show you how to just do a quick repair. And yes, you're going to have to weld. This ain't no spray foam half measure stuff, so this is how we do it. So let's get it. So first thing you want to do is you want to trace out the rust spots. You want to make sure everything's flat and square and easy enough to mold to. This one has a little bend here, as you can see, a lip, and we're going to show you how to do that too. So get everything marked up, everything ready to be cut out. Alright, next thing you want to do, you want to make yourself a patch. You want to get some cardboard and a Sharpie and just get everything marked off. You're going to look over here. When I match this up here, it's roughly going to be the same. And that line you see there is for your lip. See, that wraps around and that makes the lip there. So once you got all that figured out and make your template, then you're going to go over. You're going to trace it onto your metal here. You see, I got a spot for a bend here and a spot for a bend there. Alright, so after you get your patch cut out, next thing you want to do is you want to bend and work it to whatever shape you're working with. So for us, it's right below the gas tank. It's got this nice little curvature to it, as you can see. So I went ahead and just bent this metal as best I could. I did pretty good, you know. Can't really tell on camera there. You get a little bit of that profile, pretty decent. So then once you get it bent the way you want it, so I bent it all by hand. You could use a bunch of different tricks. Obviously I don't have a full shop or anything. So all I use is these forming pliers, vice grips or whatever, are very helpful. And put it right along this edge here and flip up your bends. Makes it very easy. So here on this corner is where you have to turn that, so we're going to make some relief cuts so we can get a proper bend, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. Alright, so make your forming cut, relief cut, sorry. You want to go in there. Doesn't matter, you can make 2 or you can make 3 if you want, but just keep in mind you're going to have to weld them after you're done, so the less the better. So then after that's in there, you can bend it back the other way. And you'll see how we do that here in a minute. Alright, so you made your bend. That's what it should look like. See, you got a relief cut in there, and then you just bend that, you overlap them. You see it look like that in the back. Now, you can cut that off flush here and just weld that seam if you like. I like to do it this way. You have a little bit more to weld to on the back side, and you can weld in the front also, and when you grind it up, it looks pretty good. I mean, maybe not showroom quality for some of you perfection people, but good enough for here in the rust place where, you know, you want to do your work, but your truck's disintegrating into pieces. So once you get that, you got a rough patch. I think that looks pretty good. I mean, some people buy their panels, but we ain't doing none of that. We're just making all of ours out of 20 gauge steel. And as you can see, oh yeah, that'll do. That'll do nicely. So we're going to cut that out and get her tacked in. Alright, after you get your patches made and everything, you want to weld them in, you want to tack them, just like that. That's big ol' ugly weld. That's a good thing actually, the good penetration there. I had to do that from the inside, that's so the box doesn't move. Now as you can see, I got another piece cut out, so this piece up here is actually rusted way out. So instead of taking the box off in order to fix this, just cut it off flush. I got my other patch made here. We're going to tack that in, but before we do, I got a piece made here for the end. It's the same thing, measured it and everything. That's going to fit right in here. Alright, there you have it. It's the final patch. Didn't turn out too bad. I mean, you can buy your pieces, but one of these about this size is probably $200, whereas you can get a whole sheet of 20 gauge steel for $60. So you can make all your own pieces if you're real handy, but I'm pretty pleased with how that turned out. So we're gonna bring you over here. We're gonna add it to that patch there. I mean, if I was gonna do this again, I'd do it in one big patch, but you know, no big deal, we're here now. So that's gonna go just like that. So that will go up in there and make that nice little corner. Alright, you get your patches going, got them tacked in, you got it all welded off. We're using flux cores, and since we're outside, we're not going to have a lot of luck with gas, as the gas will just blow away in the wind, but flux core is not so bad, it'll get you by. Some quick welds. Now, once you get to this step, you want to grind off all your welds down to basically smooth. Never mind the pinholes, as you're going to fiberglass that anyway, and then some spot putty and some paint and sanding, everyone's favorite, but I think it turned out pretty good. I got a little bit of warping, which is to expect if you're going fast with the welder. It gets really hot and then it'll warp sometimes, but it's an old truck, we don't really care. And in there came out pretty good, as you can see. I'm going to be fiberglassing, there's a little gap, but it's all welded in on the back side and on the front. That's all grinded, and the body line's not so bad, as you can see. Lines up pretty decently. As you can see, we got some fiberglass and all of our stuff here, looking pretty good. Got all of our welds, everything grinded down, and then this up on it. So the next step after that, you just want to sand all that down, get it looking pretty, kind of like drywall, everybody's favorite, you know, mudding and sanding, same kind of principle here. And then once that's done, all I got to do is do a little more sanding and then a little more paint. So paint and primer after that. Alright, so here's the other side. This is all sanded, all welded in there, ready to go. Nice and smooth there on that transition. And even got it good into there. This is welded on the back side and filled just like the other side. And then the next step here is just to put some primer on it, throw some paint on it. I think that looks pretty good. The body line's pretty fair. I mean, not as good as the other side, but we'll take it. One solid piece this time. Just an idea of what you can do with a welder and some time, and you know, don't forget to make your patches and everything, but aside from that, it's not that hard to do. So if you're in a rough state or you're in Canada and you want to get it done, it's worth it to get a hobby welder. Don't forget to mend it and send it. Here's the end result for you. I mean, you'll have to excuse my lack of patience for sanding. You see some grinder spots and whatever, but I finished it with a 400. Good enough in my opinion, gets you out working, pass your inspection, lasts a long time. Probably need another coat of paint maybe, but not too bad. And if you step away, it looks pretty good. Now let's check out the other side. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good. None of that spray foam shit. Might as well do it right. One and done.